Okie dokie, we have successfully completed the ERC-6551 contracts. Now we need to build an application that users can log in with their wallets and see the NFTs and give them the opportunity to build their token-bound accounts to create the NFT wallets and receive and send ERC-20 tokens straight from their NFTs. So this is the goal. The goal is to build this front end. We are going to be displaying the main NFT ID picture. Once the user clicks on any of the NFTs, we should be able to display that NFT in the main image section. Then we'll display the rest of the NFTs below it. And next to the NFTs, we are going to give the end user a button that will allow them to create the token bound account straight from the front end. Once they're done, the button should refresh and should now show the option to withdraw token. Okay, so what needs to happen? We have to obviously connect the wallet into the application, because with the wallet, I am going to obtain all the information so then we can generate the NFT images and all that. We connect the wallet, we obtain the NFTs IDs from that particular wallet, and this is for a particular collection. Okay, we're not saying that we're going to be building this for any NFT collection. This is bound to a particular NFT collection smart contract. So we have to deploy our own NFT collection smart contract. We have to mint those tokens. We built the front end application so that we can pull the metadata out of IPFS. As you know, NFTs metadata are usually hosted in IPFS. We're going to be obtaining the metadata so that we can retrieve the image path. Okay, this will be the image file stored in IPFS, and then we can use that path so that we can render the image on the front end. Okay, but that's not all. Once we're done with that, we are going to build the functions that will allow me to interact with both the registry smart contract and the account smart contract. If we don't see that there's no token bound account created for a particular NFT, we should have the condition on the front end to detect. And if that's the case, we are going to be building a button that is going to show create account if there is no token bound account generated for that particular NFT. And once the end user that is holding the NFTs, the NFT holder, clicks on create account, the wallet is obviously going to open, it's going to generate the address, and the front end should refresh. And instead of showing create account, it should show withdraw. It should give them the opportunity now to interact with that token bound account. If I obtain the token bound account, which by the way, we are going to be displaying this on the front end, the token bound account, we are going to place that in the upper right corner. So users also know what's the address of that token bound account. With that address, I can open my MetaMask wallet and I can proceed to transfer ERC-20 tokens onto the NFT. We're going to have two tokens. We are going to have the native token, obviously, because this is the default native token that will be allowed to interact with using the ERC-6551 account smart contract. And we are going to take the opportunity to add a second token. We can add as many tokens as we want, because remember on the last video, I did a function that allows me to pass the value of any ERC-20 token smart contract. So now if I decide to build this front end to allow, let's say I'm going to be airdropping USDT tokens, and we are going to be building a fake USDT smart contract, I can then drop USDT tokens onto that ERC-6551 NFT token bound account, and then the user can click that token, and they should be able to withdraw and transfer the funds to the connected wallet, the owner of the NFT wallet. Okay, so this is an amazing project, and this can open the door to many possibilities. We can now, let's say, build a NFT based gift card that we can use to send recurring bonus tokens onto the users by just airdropping them onto the NFT token bound account. I don't need to know what the owner of the NFT is going to be. All I need to know is the token bound account that gets generated with the NFT ID. So let's say I send 1,000 tokens to token ID number 2, right? And the holder or the owner of that token decides to sell that NFT or to transfer that NFT to someone else, the new owner should be able to still log into the site and still have access to the 1,000 tokens that we airdropped previously to the previous owner. Remember, again, this is not bound to the owner wallet. This is bound to the NFT. So whoever is the owner of the NFT has access to the funds. Okay, enough with the talking. This is the final video in this tutorial. Let's go ahead and let's build the front end and make this project a total success. All right, let's go ahead and let's make it happen. Okay, let's make this happen. So first thing we have to do is build a NextJS project instance. Okay, npx create next app, and we're going to call this ERC-6551 wallet. Okay. And it's going to ask me if I'm going to use TypeScript. No. Yes, ESLint. No Tailwind. No SRC. And no app router. And import customize. Nope. So I'm not using any of those options because I'm not focusing myself on front end. I am going to focus on the operational aspect. Now that we have built this project, now what we need to do, we have to deploy the smart contracts, okay? But because we need to interact with all the smart contracts, we are going to be deploying the NFT collection smart contract. We're going to be using a test NFT collection smart contract, and you are going to find that file on the GitHub repo. We are also going to be deploying the ERC-6551 registry, the ERC-6551 account, and finally, the USDT fake token, because we want to be able to pay the NFT holder using both the native token and the fake USDT token that we are going to build. Okay, and I'm going to be using on Remix the files that we already work with in the previous video, okay? So what I'm gonna do, I am going to first of all deploy the NFT collection smart contract, okay? And I have this base collection smart contract, and you can find it on the repo. What I'm gonna do here, I am going to mint for maximum supply. I should be able to mint even more. Let me just mint 10, okay? So we're gonna mint 10. I'm going to Control S. Okay, so this is the wallet I'm going to be using. So now what I got to do is I'm going to deploy. I'm going to change myself to use that injected provider. So we have refreshed. Now it should be able to copy this account. I'm going to go ahead and paste it on the initial owner, and we're going to deploy. It's going to ask me to pay, confirm, wait for the confirmation. So we got the NFT collection smart contract. Okay, now what I got to do, I have to provide the base URI, which is the pointer in IPFS to the metadata, so then we can effectively obtain the picture of the NFT and all the attributes on that NFT collection. I have already one that I'm using, and you should be providing your own. This is literally an NFT collection smart contract. If you don't know how to work with NFTs, I have a lot of videos that you can see for yourself and learn how to build this NFT collection, okay? So right now you can see here that I got the metadata. This metadata is a test collection that I got, and all we need to find out is this base URI, so then I can point all the NFT tokens onto this particular metadata. Okay, so I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back into my smart contract, and under base URI, we're going to paste that right here, IPFS //, and that's it. Okay. So right now, if I go to base URI, it's 0, but then once I do that, then I should be able to obtain here. So I'm going to go ahead and transact. We're going to update that base URI, pay, and we are dealing with Sepolia. So I'm deploying everything in the Sepolia testnet. So let's wait for that to complete. Cool. Okay, so now let me confirm that we got the base URI. Beautiful. Now we have a base URI. Once I mint those tokens, I should be obtaining those metadatas, and then I will be able to obtain the picture and so on. Because now with the base URI, I can scan and get to that particular path, obtain the metadata, and then from the metadata, I can resolve the picture ID or the picture URL and then get the picture, okay? Awesome. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to mint, okay? So let me mint to myself, okay? So I'm going to be minting to myself. And I'm going to be minting 4 NFTs, okay? So we are going to transact. You can see it right here, and we are deploying. Once that's done, we are done with the NFT collection. Beautiful. Okay, awesome. So now we have minted 4 NFTs. So if I go under the balance of, let me pass my wallet, we got 4 NFTs. Beautiful. Okay, so we got 4. You can see it right here. Now, if I go under the token URI, so if I type 1, now it tells me this is the path to that token, okay? So if I say number 2, this number 2, and so on, okay? Beautiful. Now, if I specify owner of NFT ID number 1, now you see my wallet as the owner of that, and this should be the same all the way to number 4. 5 should be 0, basically giving me an error saying that I don't own that NFT, okay? Now the second smart contract that I'm going to be deploying, it's going to be the registry smart contract, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and deploy the registry smart contract. Boom, we're gonna confirm, boom. Let's wait for that. Now we have the registry smart contract. Beautiful. That's the address. Now let's deploy the account smart contract to the account. We're going to Control S, and I am going to head under 65551 account smart contract. We're going to deploy that. Boom. Okay. With those two, I can start building token-bound accounts or NFT wallets, okay? Okay, so we now got the ERC-6551 account smart contract, the registry, and the collection. Let's deploy the final smart contract, which is going to be the USDT, the fake USDT smart contract. I'm gonna go ahead and deploy it, and it's asking for the owner. It's gonna be my wallet, so just copy the address and paste. Now that we have all the smart contracts, let's head back under the project, okay? Because the first thing I'm gonna do, I am going to create another folder, and this folder is going to be called components, okay? So we're gonna right click, we're gonna create a new folder, components. Beautiful. Okay. Inside this folder, we are going to create a file called config.js. Okay. This is where we are going to build the entire interface to make the calls into the registry smart contract, into the account smart contract, and also even get the metadata out of IPFS. Okay. Once we do this, then we can start building the front end itself and start calling the functions that I'm going to be building right here, okay? I am going to import, also very important, the ABI for each smart contract, because that's the only way that I'm going to be able to make the calls to the smart contracts on the blockchain, okay? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go under components, we're gonna do new file, and we are going to say NFT ABI. JSON, okay? This will be the first one. Now we're gonna say another file. This will be the ERC-6551 account JSON. Then we're gonna do another file, ERC-6551 registry JSON. Those are my ABIs, okay? And we're gonna do one last ABI that's gonna be the ERC-20 ABI. Okay, this will be for the USDT, the fake USDT token, okay? Now let's go ahead and populate the information that we need here. Okay, so what I'm gonna go to Remix once again. I'm gonna head over, let's say we are selecting the USDT already. So let's just use this. Let's go back to the compiler. And right here, you can see it. Let me zoom in a little bit more. You can see ABI right here. Okay, so we are going to click, copy. Now let's go back. Let's select the ERC-20 ABI. And boom, we have successfully pasted that ABI. We're gonna Control S and we have saved. Beautiful. Now let's go under the account and do the same thing. Let me go back to Remix. Let me find that account smart contract. Let me go into here, account. Let me go to the compiler. It's selected account. Very important to make sure that you're selecting the right one. We're gonna copy, we're gonna go back, we're gonna paste, boom, save, awesome. Next, registry. We're gonna copy it. We're gonna go back and we're gonna save. Awesome. And one last, NFT collection. Go back, NFT collection, ABI copied. And we're gonna go ahead and paste. Beautiful. So we have all the ABIs imported into the front end, okay? So what I'm gonna do, now let's install those dependencies. But instead of me installing the dependencies, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make it a little bit cleaner. So I am just going to import the dependencies that I need, invoke npmi, and that should be it, okay? So we're gonna go back and we are going to install all this. I'm gonna go through it for sake of this tutorial. I'm gonna just paste all in and bear with me. Okay, so we are going to be using Bootstrap for styling. I know Bootstrap, it should not be used. Again, this channel, it's for Web3 development, not front end. So there's many great tutorials on how to use Tailwind, which I would recommend. I just use Bootstrap because it's easier for me to build this tutorial. All you have to do is build your own front end and adapt all your Web3 calls to that front end, okay? Ethers, we're using Ethers. We're keeping Next.js, React, and we are going to be using Sass for additional styling because I have some libraries that I'm going to incorporate because you're going to see how cool this front end is going to look like. We are going to have the refreshing screens and we are going to have the capability of having animations on the buttons and stuff like that. Okay, so it's going to look more intuitive, more visually appealing. Okay, beautiful. We're going to be using this font and I have this library, which is part of my web front end. And I have VIEM and Swiper. Okay, so when I Control S, what I'm going to do now, I am going to open this folder in command line or in a terminal. So we are going to go here and we're going to say terminal. So now I am navigating using the VS Code terminal. Now I can effectively make sure that I save this, Control S, save the package.json file. And then we're going to say PMI, and we might have some legacy dependencies on this. So I'm just recommending you to do this, okay? npmi legacy peer deps. Beautiful. Okay, awesome. So we have done this. Now I should have VIEM and Ethers, so I can start building my Web3 interfaces. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to first of all import. What am I going to be importing? From VIEM, VIEM is going to allow us to open that MetaMask connection and interact with our network, in this case, Sepolia, which is a testnet. So I'm going to say create wallet client. Okay, this will be one. And I am going to also invoke custom. So we're going to be importing custom from VIEM. Okay, VIEM, and we are going to be using those two to invoke and connect the MetaMask wallet to the testnet, which is Sepolia. Okay, awesome. So now we have done this. Now we're going to say import, and we are going to be invoking Sepolia from VIEM/chains. Okay, this is how we can interact with this testnet using VIEM on our MetaMask. Okay, beautiful. Let's first of all, okay, so we're going to be importing the ABI. So let's first do NFT ABI from ./NFTABI.json. Okay, awesome. So we have imported this from this particular import. Okay, so let's now do the same for the other ones. Okay, so what I'm going to do is copy, we're going to paste. Okay, so now we are going to change this for ERC-20 ABI from ERC-20 ABI. Okay, now we're going to do it with ERC-6551 registry ABI. Okay, from ERC-6551 registry. And finally, we're going to say ERC-6551 account from ERC-6551 account. Awesome. So we have brought in the project, the ABI, so now we can use them. Okay. Next thing, we are going to be importing ethers from ethers. Okay. With this, I can now use ethers and make my Web3 calls to the smart contracts. After I'm done with that, now I'm going to save the contract addresses onto this config file. Okay, so I'm going to say constant. I'm going to say NFT contract address, because this will be the contract of the NFT collection. And let's get the address. So let's go to the collection. This will be the first one. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to say NFT collection address. Beautiful. So we got the first one. I'm going to say constant ERC-6551 registry address. Now we're going to look for that. Let me just take the opportunity to do this. I'm going to say ERC account address. Okay. And this will be the base. I'm going to call this the base because this is not the account. The account itself, it's the every token bound account that we generate, that will be the account. This will be the base account smart contract. Okay. So we are going to say this is the base account where we can build all those accounts. And then finally, I'm going to also provide the fake USDT contract address. Okay, beautiful, awesome. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the registry. I'm going to go back. Beautiful. Now I'm going to go and copy the account. I'm going to go and paste the account. And finally, we have to import the USDT contract. So let's go back and the fake USDT. Awesome. Okay, so now we got this. Okay. All right, so now we have the contracts. Now let's do some magic right here. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to build the Web3 connector, or the hook, so then we can start interacting with our MetaMask wallet in the web application. Okay, so we're going to say constant Web3 provider. I'm going to say async. Okay, so now what I'm going to do to build this interface, as a matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to control S. Okay, so we're going to control S, and I want to make sure that I can run the application, right? So I can run this web front end. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to say npm run dev, right? And then we'll continue building the functions. So it looks like it did. So I'm going to open the browser and take a look at that. Okay, let's say here localhost 3000. Beautiful. So yes, I do have the NextJS splash page. That looks good. Okay, awesome. So now let me go back. Beautiful. So now I can continue here. So on the Web3 provider, right, we are going to invoke first the account. We need to obtain that account, or in this case, the wallet address that is connected, because we're going to be using that to build the functions or to build the token bound accounts. So we're going to say await window.ethereum, and then we're going to say request, and we're going to say method. Inside the method, we are going to be specifying, I want ETH request accounts. This will be your parameters or the arguments that we need to pass, so then we can obtain the value for the account ID, or in this case, the address of the wallet that is connected. That's all. Okay. Control S. I'm going to say now, we're going to continue here. We're going to now say client. And now we are creating that connection by invoking the create wallet from VIEM. Okay. So I'm going to say here, create wallet client. And then we're going to specify that it's going to be account, right? What's the account? We are going to now pass the account. Remember, we are obtaining this from this method. Now we have to pass chains, and we are going to specify that it's going to be Sepolia. And you can see right here, if I don't specify anything, you can see that I have all the information regarding the Sepolia import that we just did, right? So we imported this variable Sepolia from this particular module. So now if I type in any other, I should be able to see more than just Sepolia. So let me see Ethereum. You can even have EOS testnet. You can see here there's quite a handful. So, or you can see mainnet. Oh yeah, so this will be the Ethereum mainnet. Do you have BSC? Yeah, you can see that we have Sepolia. We can have BSC testnet, etc. Okay, so we are going to handle Sepolia here, and now we are going to say transport. What's the transport? We are going to be using custom and window.ethereum. okay? But we are looking for that particular parameter. So that tells me that I'm able to connect and use the MetaMask wallet. This is the request. We want to make sure that we are connecting using window Ethereum, which tells me that that's a MetaMask wallet, okay? So perfect, we got the client interface, and now we can return that client, okay? But before we return, because we're going to be using this for all our Web3 calls, the idea here is once we initiate this Web3 provider, I can reuse this for all my calls, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to confirm. So I'm going to console log, right? I'm going to say client, okay? And I can specify here export. Now I can export that onto the index page, right? So we save it. And now if I go to index, I can call here import Web3 provider, which is the interface that I created from config, okay? When I do that, I am going to create a button. Let's create a button, and we're going to make the button like next to this where it says get started. So I'm going to create that button here. We're going to test it out. Get started. Okay. So right below here, we are just going to create an HTML button, right? And we're going to say on click, you are going to open Web3 provider, and let's call this test wallet. Okay, this will create a button. So I'm going to control S, and let's go back and see if we get the button. And there you go. That's the button right there, because all I'm doing, it's enabling the console log. If we go back to config, that's all we are going to see is the console log and displaying this interface, okay? So if we go back, press F12, clear the output here. I'm going to test the wallet, and the wallet should open, boom, and it has asked us to connect, and we're going to be using the same wallet that I've been using. And boom, I'm connected. Now I'm able to see that I obtained the address. So now I can effectively call account, and it should return the wallet address, which we need to make calls and generate the token bound accounts. So when the user connects their wallet, this value has to be passed onto the registry, and we can build those accounts. So this is very important. Awesome. So now that we have that and we confirm that we're good there, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to then return client, okay? So we got the first one. Beautiful. Now let's build other interface. It's going to be very interesting. This interface, it's allowing me to connect the wallet and build the contract interfaces, okay? So we just connected the wallet, yeah, but now I am going to invoke this, plus I'm going to generate the connections for my registry smart contract, for my account smart contract, for the collection smart contract. So I have now the capability to get information from all my contracts across all the functions that I'm going to be building, okay? We're not going to export. I was just doing a test, so I'm going to remove export from here. But now we are going to be exporting, definitely, because we are going to be using this for the front end. We're going to say async function, and we're going to call this connectWallet. And then we are going to start here. So the first thing, I am going to be invoking this because I have to open that connection, and then I can build the account connections, okay? I can build the contract connectors, okay? So I'm going to say constant connection, and I'm going to await Web3 provider, right? So the moment I do this, and this is attached to any other function, the first thing that's going to happen is it's going to call this. And then from there, I can obtain all the information that I need to obtain. Okay, so let's go ahead. Now we're going to say constant provider, because we have to specify which provider are we going to be using to make the calls into the blockchain. Now that we have the connection to the wallet, now I have to use the provider to make the calls onto the smart contracts. That's how I am telling the interface that we are going to build to talk to the smart contracts. It's the provider. So we are going to create a new ethers. This is where we use ethers, and we're going to call this providers. And now we are going to say Web3 provider. Who's my provider? Connection. You remember? Open that connection using the first function that we just created. We pass it down here on the second, and then we build our provider that is going to be using this connection to make the calls. So now one of the things that, if you remember on the last video that we did, if you go back to Remix and you go under the registry, one of the things that I have to provide every time that I make a token bound account is going to be the chain ID, okay? Which means that I have to be able to pass that value on the front end. Once the user is doing the wallet connection, is building that wallet connection, the chain ID should be obtained so that we can pass it to the blockchain, to the smart contract, okay? Because that's mandatory for us to build this account, to create a token bound account, okay? So go back. Now what we're going to do, we're going to say constant, and we're going to say chain ID, because we are going to be finding the value of chain ID. And we did it in brackets because I want to retrieve whatever object value is this, okay? Check this out. And now we're going to say await provider, and this is from the provider that we just generated. Now we can obtain what chain what chain or blockchain has been selected on the MetaMask wallet, okay? In this case, it's going to be Sepolia. So that's what I should be obtaining once I do this call. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to say provider, right? And we are going to say get network. This will be a function inside the method, which is provider, which we just built right here. Now with this, if I console log chain ID, okay, And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to be importing that into the button that we created previously. Okay, so I'm going to say back to index. I'm going to go up. Instead of web provider, I'm going to import connectWallet, right? And now let's change this to be connectWallet. Okay, now let's go back, refresh. And now let me test. There you go. What we're getting, the chain ID. Okay, so if you see right here, chain ID, why we're getting that output in the console is because this right here, we are consoling chain ID to the log, to the console log. Okay, sweet. Now we're going to say constant signer, because this will be the wallet that is going to sign the transaction. It's going to execute the transaction. It's going to be the end user, the one who's going to do the signing of this transaction to build the wallet, to build that account. Okay, so we're going to say signer, provider. We're going to be also using that provider get signer. Okay, with this, I can sign the transactions. I can pay for the transaction, etc. Okay, now we're going to be building the interfaces to talk to all the smart contracts. Let's build the first one, constant, and let's call this NFT contract. Okay, oh, let's call this NFT collection. Okay, this will be the interface to talk to that contract. And now we are going to build that interface, ethers contract, right? And now we can pass the first thing that we're going to pass under this constructor is going to be the address of the NFT collection. You can see it right here. And then we have to provide the ABI, the contract interface, and then we have to provide the signer, which is what we just built right here. Okay, so let's provide the NFT collection, which is going to be this address. This will be the address of the NFT collection, right? The next thing that we have to provide so that we can make calls onto the blockchain is going to be the NFT ABI, right? Because that's how I know what calls or what functions do I have available on that smart contract. Okay, and finally, who's going to make the call? It's going to be the signer, which is the wallet that is connected. That's the wallet that is going to make the calls onto the blockchain. Beautiful. Now that we have this structure, you know what? I love copy and paste. As you know me, if you haven't seen other videos, I suggest you do, because I love a lot of copy and paste. Now we're going to be building another interface. This will be for the ERC-6551 registry. Okay. And now, guess what? I just need to replace that value here with the ERC-6551 registry. Okay. And then I am going to replace this with the ERC-6551 registry ABI. Okay. You see where I'm going? I know you do. And I'm still using signer. And finally, I am going to be providing the USDT, because we are going to allow the users to also withdraw USDT, the fake USDT that we are going to be airdropping onto their wallets. Okay. So we're going to say USDT contract. And now all I have to do is grab this, copy, and we are just going to replace this USDT contract. This will be ERC-20 ABI and still signer. Okay, beautiful. So now the only one that we haven't invoked is the base account. Why is that? Because I am not actually going to use base account to create the wallets. I'm going to be using the base account contract to send ERC-20 tokens from the NFT wallet. Now that I build this entire interface, this function, now I can use this across my entire project. Okay, now I can interact with the NFT collection, I can interact with the registry, and I can interact with the USDT contract. Okay, so now what do I need to do? I am going to be returning all those values. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be returning is connection once again, because now we have that web provider, which we can use to make other calls, because if we brought up this connection, then I can reuse that anywhere else. Okay, so I'm going to say connection, I'm going to say signer, I'm going to now say provider, I'm going to use that provider, I am going to use NFT collection, I'm going to also use the ERC-6551 registry interface that we just created, which is this one, and we are going to use the USDT contract and also the chain ID. Beautiful, awesome. So now we have this interface. Now the next thing that we need to do, okay, is that we need to build a function that allows me to obtain the NFT information so that I can generate the wallet accounts, I can obtain the metadata, and I can display the images on the front end, okay? With that said, I am going to create export. Also, I'm going to be exporting it because I need to use this on the index.js, which is the actual front end, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say export async function, right? And we're going to call this getNftsInfo. Okay, this will be the function that we are going to create to obtain the information from the NFTs. Okay, now the first thing I want to do, I'm going to say constant, and I'm going to call this Web3 connection, right? Because we are going to invoke that connectWallet. What I'm doing right now is I am bringing this interface right here onto this function. With this Web3 connection, now I should have access to all those interfaces that we just generated here and variables, etc. How do we know that? Guess what? I want to obtain the wallet of the user. Okay, so the first thing I want to obtain, because I need to pass that to the NFT collection smart contract, I need to do this. Let me show you guys and girls. So what I got to do, I am going to be passing my wallet like here, so that I can obtain, for example, how many tokens is that wallet holding, or how many NFTs. And I can use this value to build a loop that is going to then make my other calls. Okay, test this first one. So how do I obtain the wallet address from this Web3 connection variable that we just did? I want to say user wallet. Let's build that variable. And from there, I'm now going to say Web3 connection dot. Okay, here we go. This is all the information that I have available, or all the return from that other connection, that other interface that we just imported right here. So with that, I am going to say connection. Why is that? Because this is literally the connection that goes to the Web3 provider, which is over here. We need to get access onto that account, okay? And we saw it when we tested the button. We saw that we were able to see the wallet address. That's what we're trying to extract from, okay? So we say connection. Now we are going to say account, which is inside connection. You can see it right here. And what is inside account is going to be the address itself. How do we know that? Let's test it out. Console log user wallet, okay? And I'm gonna save it. And now I am going to use this button instead, or this function in the index, the test button that we created. I'm gonna say getNftsInfo. And let me find my interface or my button. getNftsInfo. I'm gonna save it, and let's go back. Let me refresh once again. And what should we see here is the user wallet, okay? Now that I have the wallet address, I can pass it onto the NFT collection smart contract and obtain how many NFTs is the user holding. And that number, ladies and gentlemen, I can use it to generate the pictures and generate the metadata and obtain all that information regarding the NFTs, and also provide the capability to the user to build the wallet, the NFT wallet they're going to be creating, the token bound account, okay? We go back onto config. Okay, so we have the user wallet. Beautiful. Let's bring in the NFT collection interface that we just created right here, right? So I can say constant NFT collection. And now how do we bring this here? We just invoke Web3 connection. And remember, we are returning NFT collection. So we should have it available here. Beautiful. There we go. Awesome. So now we have this interface that we can talk to the NFT collection smart contract. Okay, so let's make a call. Let's test it out. But for that, I need to pass the signer. No, actually, I don't need to pass the signer now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say, for example, this is a test. I'm going to say total NFTs for that connected wallet. How many NFTs is that wallet that is connected holding? So I'm going to say await NFT collection. And now I'm going to call the function. What is the function that allows me to get the amount of NFTs? Balance of. Okay, so what I'm going to do, we're just going to call that. So I'm going to say balance of, and I'm just going to declare that function right here. And let's console log total NFTs. Okay, Control S. Okay, so we got balance of what? And remember, one of the arguments, or the only argument that I need to pass, is going to be my wallet address. But guess what? We are now obtaining the wallet address because we did this. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use user wallet right here. Okay, so now we are effectively passing that here. And now we should obtain the total amount of NFTs. Boom. Okay, let's give it a shot. There we go. We got this value in hex. How do we convert this onto integer? Very simple. This same function, all I have to do, I'm going to enclose this. I'm going to now say to string, okay? This should return this in just the string value 4. Beautiful. But I need to use this as a number, okay? So this is one way for me to build that, or to know how many tokens is the user holding. But I want to also take the opportunity to not only get the amount, so I don't have to make 2 calls. I can do another call instead that is more efficient, which is the wallet of owner. Check this out. So I'm gonna copy my own address so that I can pass it here. What this is going to give me is the actual NFT ID, which is even more important because I need to know what NFT IDs is the user holding. Okay, so now I know that I'm holding 1, 2, 3, 4 because we passed that. So I'm going to use this instead. I still can get the length or the amount of NFTs because now I know that we have 4, and I can just pass the length to this object and it should return 4, which is the total. Plus I'm also obtaining the token IDs, which is even better. Okay, so what I'm going to do back, I'm going to go back here. I'm going to say NFT inventory. Let's call this NFT inventory, right? And this one, instead of balance of, is going to be wallet of owner, just like what we saw here. Okay, wallet of owner. Okay, so let's go back. And instead of total NFTs, now it's going to be NFT inventory. And let's give it a shot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. Awesome. Now, if I don't want to convert this to string because I am going to be using the array, right? Do not use this. I'm just going to keep it that way. Let me give it a shot again. Now we have the array, which value is inside the array. Okay. So now what I got to do, I am going to now obtain the length because all by just doing this, I'm going to obtain how many NFTs is that array holding? Which is the same thing, or the wallet. Clear, I'm gonna do it again. Beautiful, 4. So it's the same, you see, but now I'm not only obtaining the length, I am also obtaining the NFT IDs, which is more efficient. So now what I'm gonna do, it's going to be, I am going to invoke the signer because I am going to be using the signer to generate the transaction, to build that transaction, okay? Why? Because I need to still interact with the base account. If the signer needs to make calls to withdraw tokens from each token bound account, they are going to be using the base account. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to now bring that Web3 signer back in here. Remember, we exported it from this function when we connect the wallet. Now we have it here. Now I can say signer, okay? Beautiful, so we got the signer. Now we need the registry. So let's invoke the registry. So constant, well, let's do let, and let's say ERC-6551 registry. And we are just going to say Web3 connection. And we are going to say ERC-6551 registry. So we have that available now for us. And then let's say let chain ID equals await Web3 connection. Remember, we are exporting that value from here, right? So now we can bring it right here. So we got that. Now this is very important. So in order for me to see the NFT IDs or the NFT metadata to get the information from IPFS, I need to obtain the base URI. So if I go under the contract, you can see right here that the token URI is this one, but the base URI is this one right here. With this, I can reuse this and do a fetch, use an API fetch using NextJS to then get the actual metadata. And then from the metadata, I can get the picture URL and display the picture, okay? Let's do it. So let me go back. What I'm gonna do, I am going to say base URI. We are going to obtain that value. Well, let's say NFT ID, or the SID, which is literally what the IPFS ID is the SID. We need to do, we are also going to talk to the NFT collection, right? Now we are going to say base URI, right? Is that the name of the interface? Base URI, all caps, okay? URI is gonna be all cap. Beautiful, so now let me console log to confirm NFT SID, okay? And let me go back, let me go here, let me clear, let me test. Beautiful, this is exactly what is inside the smart contract. Now I should be able to convert this, right? So I'm going to copy this message. Check this out. What I'm going to do, I am going to call the HTTPS IPFS IO IPFS, and now I should be able to pass this, and then at the end it's going to be 1.json, 2.json, etc. Okay, so if I press enter, there we go. So we got the metadata and the information. With this, now what I can do here, check this out. I can copy this. I'm going to pass it again, replacing the previous SID with this one, right? Because we already got the SID. Now we need to obtain the image. Okay, so we're going to do the image. Let me show you. Press enter. There you go. Awesome. So we got the picture as well. Beautiful. Awesome. So this is what we need to obtain. Well, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to be stripping this information out. So I have to remove that because I have to rebuild that URL so then I can grab the metadata itself. Okay. I can do the fetch. So let me go back. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to close this in, right? And I'm going to say replace. What am I going to be replacing? IPFS : // We want to keep the end of it, okay? I'm going to say I want to replace this with nothing. Just eliminate that, okay? So if I Control S and I check again, let's see what we get. We only get this, and now we can pass 1, 2, 3, 4 .json, whatever, okay? And we can get the metadata. Beautiful. So let's do that. Okay, so now having the NFT CID, now I can read the metadata and I can obtain the metadata, okay? I am going to build another function. Let's just put that function on top of this one, right? And this one is going to be export async function. As a matter of fact, I don't necessarily need to export. All I need to is to have the function. And that function is going to be getNftImage, okay? I'm going to call this getNftImageUrl, and I am going to be passing the NFT CID onto that interface because we're going to be using the value that we obtained there. Right, I'm going to say that. And now we have to build that function that is going to obtain image path that we saw here, right? This image by finding first the metadata and then getting the image path, okay? So bear with me on this one. So I'm going to say first things first, I'm going to say let CID URL. And now we are going to build that CID URL to obtain the metadata so then we can read that URL and then we can obtain the image metadata. You see where I'm going? So I'm going to say HTTP S, and I want to say IPFS.io / IPFS. We're just building the entire thing. Now I can effectively pass the NFT CID, right? And I am going to say plus specify right here. let's say NFT ID number 1 JSON. Why is that? Because I don't need to call this per NFT ID. All the NFTs are going to have the same ID. It's same CID for both the metadata and the picture. There's one CID for the metadata and there's one CID for the picture. All I need to be able is to resolve the first one, and then the other ones will have the same. Okay. Only thing that I have to change is the last value, which is going to be the NFT ID, and we can take a look at that and see it right now. I can go to number 1 and I can replace that with 2, and I should be able to obtain 2. There you go. So you got number 2. Okay. So you see, I just need to replace at the end 2, 3, 4, and 5, etc. And I should be able to see the pictures. Beautiful. Okay, so let me go back. Let me go back right here. I'm going to say JSON1. All I need to obtain is the first one. Let response, right? Now we are going to be awaiting fetch. And what I'm going to pass is going to pass CID URL, which is the value, by generating this URL path entirely, and then obtaining the NFT ID number 1 information. So I'm going to say get URL. And then now I have to obtain the promise and return the value. So I'm going to say output. I'm going to say await response after making the call. And I'm going to pass this to be a JSON. So I should be able to obtain the entire metadata from here. So console log output. OK. Then I'm going to catch, right? Because we're doing try and catch. I'm going to say if you do get an error, right? If there's an error, I want to know about it. I'm going to say console log, and I'm going to say error name. We're going to pass this to be abort to know that it failed. Like this is, if this doesn't work, it's going to fail. I should be able to catch that error event and understand that it failed. OK. Now with this, what I'm going to do, I am going to grab this. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to call it right below here. Right. So I'm going to say let, and I'm going to say image URL. OK. And now we're going to await, and we're going to be passing that image URL path. And that path is going to include the NFT CID. OK, so I'm going to say NFT CID, because with that, I can build that interface. OK, so I'm going to do this. And now I'm going to say console log image URL. Right. So if everything works, I'm going to Control S. I have to return the output. So I'm going to say, first of all, I'm going to try this. I'm going to say the following. I'm going to just try this in without expecting any response or expecting a return. So then it calls this, and then we can see if we're getting the metadata from the NFT. So I'm going to Control S, I'm going to go back. Boom, we got the metadata. Awesome. So now you can see here, this is exactly what we were getting from the actual IPFS URL. So now with this, I can now obtain this value. This is what I need from that call. I need to know where that picture path is, and we are reading it from the metadata. I am going to now build that URL, let image CID. We obtain the CID. Now, how can we do that? I can say output, and let me find what value or what key is the one that is holding that value. So I'm going to go back, and it's going to be image. OK, so I have to pass output because that's the name of the variable that I'm storing this information, that I'm passing image. Let me go back. Passing image, right? Oops, output, image, cool. And now with that, I'm going to say replace. What am I going to be replacing? Because all I need to have is the SID. Remember, we are passing this entire thing. So I don't need the 1 JPEG. All I need is this value right here, OK? So let me go back. I'm going to say I'm going to replace IPFS with nothing. Right? And after I do that, I am also going to remove. Basically, all I'm doing is replacing 1 JPEG. By removing this and removing this, I should effectively remain with only this, which is what I need to then I can build the images and display them on the front end. So if I go back down, OK, I am now going to say image CID, Control S, and then I go back. Let me clear this and let me see. Boom. Awesome. So this is the image CID. Beautiful. Now with this, I can call it for NFT number 1, NFT number 2, number 3, and I can display them on the front end. OK, and if you want to see it, I'm going to show you. Now let me build that. Let me say let. I'm going to say image URL. I'm going to say equals to what? Let's build that entire path. I'm going to say HTTPS IPFS.io IPFS / plus image CID, and that's it. With this, once I return that image URL, right? Once I return that, I can now effectively obtain let image URL. Now I should be able to console the entire image URL, right? So let me go and do that and go back. I'm going to Control test, and beautiful. So you can see here, this entire path should be the path to the picture itself. So I'm going to Control S. Let me paste it here, and I'm going to type 2 JPEG. Oh, you like that, huh? 1, 3. Boom, 3 and 4. That is beautiful. Okay, beautiful. We're looking very good. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to build an array that we are going to be passing to the index page so that we can start displaying the NFTs. Okay, now let's do that. NFT array. Create an empty array because we're going to be inserting data onto that array. Okay. Now the first thing that I have to do, remember we obtained the NFT inventory, which includes all the IDs. And if we pass the value or if we pass the length, we should be able to count each one, okay? So I'm gonna build a for loop. I'm gonna say for let I equals 0, I is more than NFT inventory. Remember, we want to obtain the amount of NFTs holding on that wallet. So I'm gonna say length, okay? There we go. And now we're just going to increment, okay? Okay, now with that, I am going to extract each NFT ID. We want to obtain every single NFT, 1, 2, whatever is the NFT ID inside the wallet. So I want to say let NFT ID. Now we can iterate over the inventory. I'm going to say NFT inventory, and I am going to pass the iteration, which is the I inside the for loop. Okay. And if I console log NFT ID, there you go. We go back, save, test. Ooh, look at that. Okay, so we got all 4. You can see it right here. Okay, now that I obtained the NFT ID and I know that I can see it on the front end, now let's do the following. I am going to build now the function that will let me obtain the wallet address of each NFT, the ERC-6551 account wallet address, okay? But here's the thing. There's quite a handful of things that we have to do with that interface, which I don't like to cram a lot of functions or a lot of calls onto a single function, right? So we don't want to grab this entire thing and keep adding more functions onto it. It doesn't make the code clean, plus it's harder to debug, right? So if there's issues. So what I'm going to do instead, I am going to be building a function below it that will allow me to obtain those values, okay? And then I can put conditions. If I'm not able to obtain information from X wallet, consider the wallet to not be created, and then provide the user the option to create the wallet, okay? So check this out. I'm going to say async, and we're going to continue back onto this function, okay? So what I'm going to do, let's build that function real quick. I'm going to say async function, and let's call this get ERC-6551 wallet, okay? What parameters am I going to be passing? I am going to be passing the ERC-6551 registry, okay? I am also going to be passing the chain ID. I am doing this because with this information, I can obtain the wallet address, okay? So I'm gonna show you in a second, okay? And I'm gonna say NFT ID because with this parameters, I can obtain that value. So I'm gonna say open here. Okay, let's start. So let's say let getNftWallet, okay? getNftWallet, we're just gonna say equals await ERC-6551 registry, right? And what do I need to call from the registry smart contract? If you remember on the last video, it's going to be account. So let me show you. If I wanna know what the account address is going to be for an NFT account, I have to pass the account contract address, I have to pass the chain ID, NFT contract address, the NFT ID, and salt, we leave this in 0. So let's do that. I am going to head back, okay? I want to say get registry. I am going to say account. We're going to call account, and we have to pass all this information, okay? Let's do it. I'm going to say account. And what is the first parameter that is asking for us? It's going to be the account smart contract. Remember, account smart contract, then chain ID, then NFT contract, NFT ID, and the salt. So let's do account contract, chain ID, NFT contract, NFT ID, and salt. Let's do it. So the first thing I'm going to be passing, and it's going to be ERC-6551 base account. That is the address of the account smart contract, okay? Next item that I have to pass, it's going to be the chain ID. So let's say chain ID. We need to provide that to the registry, and the NFT contract address, that will be the other item after that, and the NFT ID. So we need to pass NFT ID, which we will pass when we run this for loop. We are going to be calling this function. We're going to be passing the NFT ID, and finally the salt. I'm just going to leave this in 0. All right, so awesome. So we got that. So let me close this statement here. Beautiful. So we have that. And now I should be able to return get NFT wallet. But first, I'm going to do this. I am going to get NFT wallet, right? Now what I'm doing, I am obtaining the wallet address. Okay, so let's do that. You see, this is the function that will talk to the registry smart contract, obtain the values. I'm going to provide all that, and we should be returning the wallet address of the NFT token bound account. NFT-6551 wallet. This is going to store that value, okay? How do we do this? We do this by invoking this function that we just created, okay? So we're going to get that wallet address. We're going to get it here. And what am I going to be passing? All this information once again, so it can use that to make the call. So I'm going to say ERC-6551 registry. And you can see already that ERC-6551, we're passing it down here so then it can be used and call this view function to obtain those values. Okay. We want to confirm that we are able to see every single wallet account, or we're able to obtain each wallet account. So I'm going to say console log NFT6551 wallet. Okay. So now when we run this for loop, we will obtain each NFT ID that is present on the connected wallet. We will then use this function to obtain the wallet address, okay? And then finally, we will console and make sure that we get that, okay? So let me give it a shot. Let me go back. Let me go here. Let me refresh. Test. Ooh, you like that. I know you like that. Okay, so there's 4 NFTs, right? This is NFT ID number 1, NFT ID number 2, 3, and 4. So all of them, ladies and gentlemen, all those accounts are my 4 token bound accounts. But this is the view function. This is the view function in the registry smart contract that allows us to pre-calculate what the address is going to be. That doesn't mean that account is made, okay? We still have to invoke this create account, which we will do right now, okay? Let's do it. Now we know that this is working, okay? Now what we need to do, we are going to obtain and confirm that the owner of the NFT is matching the wallet connected, okay? So we're gonna say owner, right? And we're gonna say await ERC, and this is more security than anything, right? We're gonna say account. Now what I'm going to do, I need to build the account contract interface because we're going to be confirming if the wallet has already been created. So how am I going to do that? I am going to do that by grabbing any function inside the account and attempt to obtain information about that particular wallet, okay? So if the wallet's not available, it's going to reply me either an error or it's going to reply me 0. So then we can put the condition and say, place the button to show create account, okay? Once the wallet is connected, we are replacing that message with withdraw. So now the wallet is active and now the user can select the tokens and withdraw those tokens, okay? So now that I have this, now what I'm going to do is I am going to say ERC-6551 account. Okay, this is me building that interface. So I'm going to be doing something similar like this, but it's going to be for the account, base account smart contract. New, and then now we're going to be passing the ERC-6551 base account address, right? Then we have to pass the ABI, the ERC-6551 account, ABI account. And let's confirm, yeah, it's there, right? And still we are going to be using signer. And this will be account ABI. Let's just do ABI here, just to have a proper naming. Beautiful. So we have now that interface that we can use, okay? As we are calling each NFT, we are going to be obtaining all that information right away, okay? So now let me now confirm that the owner of the NFT matches the owner of the connected wallet, okay? So I'm going to say await, but first I'm going to confirm ERC-6551. I want to obtain the owner of the NFT wallet. So if there's an account created, I should be able to call and obtain who's the owner. If there's no owner, that means that the wallet has not been created. There's no token bound account created, which will then give me the opportunity to place the option to create the account on the front end. I am going to be able to create the account. Okay, let's do that. I'm going to say equals, and I'm going to specify await. And now we're going to call that account contract that we just created, that interface, right? And we are going to call owner. Okay, then I'm going to say, then when the promise is fulfilled, return true. Okay, and then I'm just going to catch in case if there's an error, right? So I'm going to say error, and then I'm just going to return error. Okay, so what I'm doing now, it's if this runs successfully, if this is able to find the account successfully, okay? By the way, now check this out. This is extremely important, okay? Now I need to determine if the wallet has been created already or not, okay? Which means that I have to build that interface. I am going to now interact with the account smart contract, right? So I'm going to say new ethers contract, right? And now we have to specify not the base address. Listen to me carefully. We are not going to be interacting. This could be confusing. We are not interacting with the base account smart contract. We are interacting with the wallet address that was generated with the registry address, okay? Very important. Let's do it. I'm going to show you. How do we know that? Well, we are obtaining that value beforehand, right? So we are obtaining the NFT wallet address here. Is it created or not? It doesn't matter. We are obtaining the wallet address. Now we are going to determine if this wallet actually exists. Because if it doesn't exist, the user is going to be able to create that on the fly, okay? Now I'm going to say ERC-6551 account ABI because we're going to be interacting with that account ABI. And then we are just going to pass the signer, okay? With this, now I can obtain more information about this NFT wallet. If the wallet is not created, even though that I got the address, because we can generate the address, if the wallet is not generated, this should error out, okay? Which then allows me to put a condition to show a button that says create account. If the wallet has been created, then the button is going to show withdraw, okay? Which allows you to now withdraw funds. So now let's find the owner of an NFT, okay? So what I'm going to do is going to say await ERC-6551 account, okay? And we are going to say owner, okay? Then return true. What am I doing here? If this is successfully executed, that means that there is a wallet already created. Please return true, okay? If not, then return an error, okay? So I'm going to say catch error. We're going to be catching that error, and then we're going to say return error, okay? If there's a wallet, return true. Let me see. Let me just do this, right? Else, catch the error, okay? Now, here's the thing. Now what I'm going to do, if, check this out, owner equals true, that means that the wallet has already been created, then I can build the NFT data. I'm going to be building the NFT metadata and showing that to the front end, but I'm going to provide a text value on the button that shows withdraw. Else, it's going to show create account. Check this out. I'm going to build that right now. So I'm going to say let data. I'm just going to insert that data that will include all the information that I need. It's going to say NFT image. I need all those values so that I can render the page and display everything. Okay, so I'm going to say image URL. Where are we obtaining that? We are obtaining that from the original call that we are, getting that NFT CID, and then we can obtain the path to the picture. So I'm gonna say image URL plus what? NFT ID. Remember, we are running this for every single NFT ID, so I can pass NFT ID 1 or whatever it is NFT, then the next one, etc. We are effectively building the path, okay? And I'm going to say .jpeg, okay? If the format is JPEG, then that will be the format, okay? So this is effectively storing the entire path to the image for that NFT here, so then I can use it on the front end. Now the next item that I have to store is going to be NFT ID, the actual ID. But we cannot store this like this because it's stored in hex. You remember it's stored in hex. We want to store this in integer, or at least in string, so then we can display it in the front end. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to say NFT ID, and then I can send to string, right? And that will be converted into string. Okay, and then we'll say NFT wallet, and we are going to say NFT6551 wallet. Remember, we are obtaining the wallet address of that NFT ID. Remember, on the front end, we are going to be displaying the wallet address, okay? The address of the NFT wallet. And finally, check this out, button text, okay? So this button text, when I do the HTML piece, you're gonna see it. We're gonna be calling all that and everything is gonna make sense. The button text is going to show withdraw. Why? Why is showing? Because we obtain a return from owner. That means that this call was successful. That tells me that the wallet address has been created. So now we got this. Then this information, I have to store all this because I have to do it for every single NFT. Remember, we are running this for a loop. So this will be generated for one NFT, for another NFT, etc. So what I'm going to do, now we're going to take the opportunity to store this into this array. So I'm going to do NFT array. I'm going to say push, and we now can pass the data. Very cool. Awesome. But if there's no wallet account created, it's not created yet, I am going to be catching that error. I'm going to be returning the error. So what I'm going to do, else, right? And we are going to run the same thing. I'm just going to copy this whole thing right here. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to say this, but the difference here is going to be create account. Everything else should remain the same. So the only difference is create account. So if this doesn't match, then instead you're going to do this. You're going to create this and you're going to push it. Okay, beautiful. And now once we are done with this, ladies and gentlemen, now I can go ahead and effectively close the for loop, right? So we are closing the for loop and we can return the NFT array. There you go. Awesome. Okay, beautiful. Now that we have this, what I'm going to do is the following. I am going to place all the graphical components so then we can start seeing the NFTs, okay? And then we can circle back and build the functions that will allow me to create the account, the functions that are going to allow me to check the balances for both tokens that we are going to be allowing on the application, as well as withdrawing those tokens, okay? So let's do that. For that, I don't want this tutorial to extend too much. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to select all. Let me format it prettier. Right? So we got all this. Now let's build that. And what I'm going to do, I am going to add all the components. This will be all graphical components. I'm not going to go through that. This is going to be CSS, and we will build the index. And now we will run all this, and we should be able to see the NFTs displayed. Okay. So I have a folder called assets. This will be for SCSS. So I'm going to paste that folder in, and you're going to see here that we got all the information that we need to have. for SCSS. So let me go now on pages, and I'm going to do the following. I am going to update this document because I am using SCSS, the bootstrapping for styling. So I'm going to do this, right? So let me go ahead and do one thing. I'm going to say document. I'm going to select all, and I'll paste this. I'm just going to explain to you very quick what it's doing, right? You can change this. This will be the name of the application. This will be displayed in the tab of the browser, okay? So you can go ahead and change this to what you want, and you can test it out and see how this works. And yeah, and it's pre-defining a style that we are going to be using, which is using the SCSS folder that we just added right here, okay? Beautiful. All right, so I'm gonna add this. Now I should be good. Now let's go to app because I have to make changes on this page. A little bit of changes, but it's not too hard. So what I'm doing is I am invoking a lot of the libraries that this particular front end is going to use. This is all animation, and I am going to be using a use state. So then we wait first to obtain all the information about the NFTs before loading the page. So that is a better user experience. We don't want to keep the user waiting while the page has loaded, but then stuff is not completely loaded. You see where I'm going? We want to just wait, obtain all the information that we need to await, and then display the page so that everything has been completed, right? So it's way better to render it that way, because then the user is like, okay, we're waiting for this to load, versus loading it halfway, but then stuff is not completely loaded. You see where I'm going? And again, what I'm doing is I am adding and wrapping this through React, because this is the library that I'm going to be using with the SCSS style, okay? And I am just invoking the script, which is the Bootstrap script, to load when it runs, when it renders the page, okay? I have one last thing that I have to create. This is all, again, this is all styling. No, not related to the ERC. I'm gonna take the opportunity to show you what this is about, right? So what I'm doing on the layout, and I'm gonna be wrapping the page, the index page, with this layout, right? So what I'm doing is I am adding this to the title, then I'm going to be adding description. If I need to obtain description, I can do the description. This will be the metadata on the page for SEO, engine crawls, the information. It should be able to obtain this and, you know, display this correctly on search engines, etc. Okay, purely front-end stuff. A couple of things that I have to add, which is the logos for the USDT and the logos for Ethereum or ETH. Okay. Now, finally, I'm going to add the index page, okay? So bear with me. So this is the front end. This is basically the front end. What I'm going to be doing is the following. I have an array that I will be passing from where? From the call. We should be obtaining all the information that we need to obtain to display the data on the front end, right? This will be returned in NFT array. What I got to do, I have to bring that interface into the index, and then I can grab the values that we are going to be loading when we connect the wallet into the front end, okay? Which means that I am going to do the following. Let me show you here. We are going to, first of all, I have to be importing that. So we're going to be importing that getNftsInfo. Okay, beautiful. Now I am going to create a function that's called constant getInventory. We want to obtain that inventory first. Okay, so we are going to say async, and we are going to pass the following. Now let NFTs, we want to get the NFTs, right? This is information that we need to obtain, equals wait get NFTs info. Okay. And we will run this. Now, if I console log, I should obtain an array full of data, okay? This will be obtained in the console log. So I'm gonna say Control S, but now I'm gonna take the advantage of use effect. And when it renders the page, it calls this function, okay? So I'm gonna say use effect, and we are going to effectively do the following. Get inventory, right? So we are passing that inside. Another way that I can do it, I can nest it here, and I can make the callback, and it will work the same way, but I will like this way because it's cleaner. I'm gonna say here, and I got the open here and close it there, and boom, awesome. So now let me go back, and we should obtain a console log with all the NFTs inside the array, or the information, the URL to the image, the wallet address, and all the token ID, everything, okay? So let me go back. There we go. We can see the page right here. So if we refresh, that's the page. If I F12, look what we got. Let me do it one more time. Beautiful, we got the array. Now what do we see here as far as the info that we have stored in the array? We have the image of the NFT. So if we press, there you go, we can see the NFT ID. So now all I have to do is get that map with the NFT inventory. So we have to store that into the NFT inventory, and we can then send it to the map and display in HTML. So what I gotta do, oh, and you can see here the button text create account. Why? Because we haven't made any accounts. We've deployed the smart contracts, but we haven't made any NFT account, any token bound accounts, okay? So with that said, and you can see even the NFT wallet, this is going to be the address of the wallet itself, okay? Awesome. So now what I can do is the following. I am going to do this. I am going to go back, let me config, let me go to index, and let me update this to now start rendering what I need to render, okay? Get NFT inventory into use state, so then I can display this in the front end. So I'm gonna say get NFT inventory, and what am I passing? NFTs, okay? So now that should be populated, and then NFT inventory should now be full of data, okay? Which then will allow me to at least display the pictures, which we will do. Let's do it now so then you can get motivated. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. So let me go back down. So right now, what I need to display is going to be the NFT inventory, right? This is the array with all that information and data. Data is where the information will be accessed. So I'm going to get this key and then use that to display the image. So I'm going to say image, check this out. I'm going to say SRC. And then inside SRC, we're going to say data, right? Now we're going to say I because it's an array. You can see that this is an array, okay? So we are going to say data dot, and what the information is going to be inside data. The NFT image is this right here, and this will be the URL. So let's do that. It's going to be data.NFTImage. Okay, let's go back. NFT image. Control S. I want to take the opportunity to show the main NFT ID. Then once I show that main NFT ID, the main NFT picture, then I can show the other ones below it. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to say if NFTs length is more than 0, it's higher than 0, then I want you to start storing individual parameters that I need to obtain, which one of them will be set active. We want to call this set active NFT image. This will be the first NFT that we are going to be displaying in the main NFT section. The other one is going to be a carousel that is going to show all the other NFTs below, and then the user can select each one as they wish, okay? So I'm going to say get active NFTs, and we're going to say get active NFT image. This will be the first NFT. So now we have to obtain that from the array. So I'm going to say NFTs, and I want to say 0, which is the first in the array. And now we are going to say NFT image. You can see it right here, okay? That now what I have to do here, I am going to paste that. I'm going to say active NFT image. We're going to say active NFT image, and then we're going to be passing this use state, boom. And then this will be what? It's just going to be a string. We're going to be storing this on a string. I'm going to Control S, and what I'm going to do, I am going to display that in the active NFT. So you can see here on the carousel, this is the carousel that is going to be displaying all this graphical component, all the NFT images and all that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to say SRC, and I'm going to say active NFT image. Okay, we're going to Control S, and let's take a look and see. Boom, that looks cool. Awesome. So we got the first one. Now I need to figure out why I cannot see the NFTs below it, but at least I see the first one. So that's good. That's very good. Okay, so let's continue. Now what I'm going to do, I am going to wait for the NFTs to load so then I can display the page. This is very cool. What I got to do, I am going to be creating a load state. We're just going to make a variable that is going to update its state. And if the variable has been changed to true, that means that the information has been loaded, and then I can proceed to display the page. It's very cool. So I'm going to say loading state. Okay, so I'm going to say this. Now, what I can do below here, if, right? If loading state, okay, it's equals to false. Instead of me displaying this below, I am going to do a different render, okay? I'm going to say return, and we are going to display a title that says getting info or getting metadata or something like that, okay? So I'm going to say div, I'm going to add some margins and whatnot. So now I can say h4 or h5, this will be the header, loading NFTs. Okay, so if this is true, then this will not be loaded. Instead, it's just going to continue loading what is below it. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm going to say set loading state, but I have to update it, right? So in case I was able to load NFTs and got all the information, I'm now going to say set loading state to true. I'm going to change that to true, so then it loads the actual page. If you were able to update the inventory, then I want you to change this to be true. Okay, so I'm going to Control S, and boom, you saw it. Okay, you saw it. And by the way, I think I added this in quotes because I'm used to a string. Boom, you can see it there. Boom, awesome. Information, load, refresh the state. There you go. Now let's fix the NFT image. Why it's not being displayed? Let's fix that right now. I am going to be passing the NFT inventory, and then using this map right here, we should be able to call data and the picture itself. So let's do that. I'm going to say SRC, which is the source for the image file. I'm going to do the path. I'm going to say data.NFTImage. Okay, Control S, and let's see. Ooh, that is awesome. That's awesome. Okay, beautiful. So we got the images displayed. We are looking very good. Okay, now what I gotta do, I am going to continue by providing the metadata needed so then I can display the information for the token itself. So I got to display the ID, and I also have to display the address of the token bound account. Okay, so let me go back. Now that I obtained that in use state, right, I can effectively do that. So right here I have, let me go ahead and expand here. So right here, I am going to be displaying below ERC-6551 NFT. Let me see if I can show it to you guys. Below here, I'm going to be displaying that address. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to say, what I'm going to do now, I want to also display the first token bound account address under that title. Okay, so I'm going to say set NFT wallet, right? And what am I going to pass? NFTs, and then let's find 0. And what's the value? NFT wallet. You can see it right here. Okay, with this value, ladies and gentlemen, I can display the ERC token bound account. Okay, so I'm going to do now, I'm going to say another use state. This one is going to be called NFT wallet. I'm going to say NFT wallet, and then I'm going to say set NFT wallet, right? And this will be equals to use state, and it's going to be a string. Now let's go back down and use that NFT wallet. So I'm going to grab that NFT wallet, I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to find the NFT wallet placeholder, which is right below here where it says ERC wallet. Then right here, we're going to be showing that use state variable. Boom, and let's Control S and let's take a look. There we go. We got the token bound account for this particular NFT. Now let's display this NFT ID. Okay, and then we can move on to building a button that the user will allow, will be able to select each NFT, and this should refresh. This should refresh as well as the balances. Okay, so let's do that. So now what we're going to do, we are going to display the NFT ID. We're going to say set active NFT ID. And why am I doing this? I am doing this because we are going to allow the user to change, which means this has to update. Every time that the user hits the button and gets a new NFT ID, then we have to refresh all those values on the front end. Okay, so I'm going to say NFTs 0 because this is the first one that we want to display, and we're going to say NFT ID. Okay, and then we have to build that use state, right? So we got to do here. I'm going to say set active NFT ID, and then we're going to say active NFT ID. Now let's go back and let's find that section where we active NFT ID. Okay, Control S and let's take a look at that. Loading NFTs. Boom, and we got the ID and we got the wallet. Awesome. Beautiful. So what I'm going to do, I am going to finish off adding all the graphical components as far as what it's mapped to what, but you see, would you see how am I doing? I'm just grabbing from the inventory and I am passing it to the front end. Okay, so I'm passing it to every HTML component. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to build that button that allows the user or the functionality so they can change the NFT IDs. Okay, it's going to be very quick. I am not going to focus onto that because I want to focus creating the wallet. This is HTML. I have a lot of tutorials that will get you the information that you need if you want to learn all this. Okay, so now we know that we are good here for now. Let's go back and let's build that interface that will allow me to obtain the balances for the ERC-20 tokens on the NFT wallet account. Now that we know that we're getting that information and we're seeing it at the front end, we can continue here. Now let's build that get NFT balances, ERC-6551 balances. Okay, so we're going to call this export async function, and we're going to say get ERC-6551 balances. And we're going to say NFT-6551 wallet. We're going to be passing the wallet address of the token bound account. Okay, so now with that, I am going to once again use that Web3 connection because I still need to query the blockchain for that, obviously. I'm going to say await connectWallet, right? And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to say let provider equals Web3 connection provider, right? So we're bringing that function in here. Now I want to build the connection to the ERC-20 token smart contract. Remember, the wallet of the NFT account, it's just like any other wallet, or in this case, any other account, ERC account, which means that I can use it to pass it to the token smart contract and retrieve the balances of that wallet address. Okay, same thing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say let USDT contract, right? We're going to build that interface, and we are going to say Web3 connection USDT contract, which we built. Remember, we built this. There it goes. Okay, so now I can use that to make calls. Now I'm going to say let native balance raw. Okay, I want to obtain two balances. I want to obtain the ERC-20 native balance. So if we deploy this in the Ethereum blockchain, it's going to be ETH, the balance in ETH. If we deploy this on Polygon, it's going to be the balance in Matic, and so on. Okay, so I want to obtain that value, and I call this raw because I have to convert this onto integer or ETH from way, because this will be returned in way, which we then have to convert onto decimal, so then I can properly display this in the front end. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to say I am going to await, right? We're going to say provider, and we're going to say get balance of what? Of the NFT token bound account, right? With this right here, ladies and gentlemen, I can say the following. So let me show you. I'm going to test this out. So we're going to say console log balance raw. Okay. So this gets me the balance in the native token, right? This, you see, I am not talking to any smart contract. I am talking to the provider. That's it. Okay. So I'm going to say native balance raw. And what I want to take the opportunity to do is to retrieve the balances of every single NFT that I have on the wallet, okay? So what I gotta do, one thing that I can do to test, I'm not gonna do it every single time that I'm refreshing the page, only once. I am going to build a button that when the user clicks the NFT, this will run and we will obtain and refresh the balances, okay? So I'm gonna say constant get change NFT. Let's do change NFT. This will be async. And inside here, I have to pass the NFT ID. I also have to pass the NFT image, right? Because we have to update the main picture, right? We want to update the main picture as well as the balances and all that, which means that I have to pass this ID. So the moment the user clicks this, all that information, I have to retrieve all those values so that I can then update the front end and retrieve this new value, all that, okay? Okay, so I'm gonna say NFT image, I'm gonna say wallet, and I'm gonna say the button text. Why this is so important? Because let's say that NFT account was already built. Instead of me showing create account, I should be able to show this withdraw token, right? So allow me to change that. I'm gonna say button text, okay? So I'm gonna say now bump, I'm gonna pass this. Now with that, okay? By the way, before I even test this, I'm going to pass that a balance, okay? So I'm gonna say I'm just gonna await. I'm gonna pass this interface that we just created so then we can know that it's working, right? I wanna make sure that this is working. So I'm gonna say this, and it's expecting a balance, right? So what I'm going to do, let me just take the opportunity to pass any NFT ID here. So I'm going to say active NFT. Let's just take the opportunity and run this and say this will be the ID that I'm going to be passing. Actually, no, the wallet address, I forgot. It's the wallet address of the NFT, the token bound account. So I'm going to pass this right here, Control S. Let's go back and we refresh. Loading, and if I press F12, look at that. It's showing 0, but that's good because we don't have any USDT, fake USDT on that token bound account, but that's good. That's very good. That gives me all the information that I need to know, okay? So with that said, I know that that's working, so I don't have to work with that anymore. Now let's build this change NFT so that we can continue. As a matter of fact, let's finish the balance function. Okay, so we know that we are able to obtain the ERC-20. I forgot, it's a long video. It's not the USDT balance that we saw. We saw the native ETH balance. Now we want to do the same thing for the USDT balance. Okay, so now we know that we obtained that. So I'm gonna say let USDT balance. Now we're gonna obtain that value. We're gonna say USDT balance raw. Okay, and then we're gonna say await. And as a matter of fact, I want to convert this onto decimal because you saw it. If you refresh, this is showing in hex. We don't want hex, we want way, or at least ETH. Okay, so let me fix that. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna convert this onto string. So I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say to string. Okay, this should be now in string. Now what I'm gonna do the same thing. Yeah, it's gonna be the same thing, but slight difference. So I'm gonna say USDT balance raw, and then I'm gonna say instead of provider, I'm gonna say USDT contract, which is this right here, right? I can use that contract and then I can say balance of, and that is the Web3 function that I can use to obtain the balance of any account. And we're gonna be passing the NFT wallet address, okay? And this will be to string. So if I console log both, right? I wanna say native balance and USDT balance, I should be able to see both. So let me Control S, let me go back and let me rebuild. Both are 0. That is great. That means that I don't have any USDT tokens, nor I have the native token, okay? So let me go back. Now that I know that that works, I want to convert this onto decimal, right? Which means that I'm going to be building a quick function just to do that. Let me just paste it down below here. Let me just copy and paste it. This will be very quick. Tutorial is going long, okay? So I'm gonna say, boom, convert to ETH. Now with convert to ETH, I can pass an argument to say, hey, if this is ETH, then I want you to convert this onto a number, a decimal, but I'm gonna have 5 zeros. Then I wanna make sure that I pass this ETH conversion, else I'm gonna be passing 2, okay? Because we are going to be displaying 2 tokens. We're going to be displaying the ETH token that you could have 0.001 ETH, but in USDT, we don't want to show that. We want to show that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. We only 2 decimals. That's it. Okay. So that's why we're doing it. So now let me go ahead and convert that. So I'm going to say using that converter that I just did, which is ethers utils format ether, and then we pass a value. We got to make sure that we do this right here, right? We want to convert that USDT to the USDT balance as a number. So I'm going to say USDT balance, and we're going to paste the following. We're going to say USDT balance is going to be await. We're going to pass this. Let's just do this. Boom. And now type. What is the type? We just can say null. Why? Because when I run this type, unless it's ETH, it's just going to fall into this. Okay. So that's fine. And then value is going to be the raw balance that we just created. So this will be obtained right here. We obtained the we obtained the USDT balance raw, and then we're passing it down here. Now we have to do the same thing with the native balance, right? And we are going to grab the exact same thing, right? But now I have to specify ETH because I want this to be ETH. And now I'm going to be passing native balance raw. If I run this native balance, right, and then USDT balance, we should obtain the value as a number, not as a string. So let me refresh. There you go. You can see on Ethereum, if this is the native token, then we can have, up to 5 places. And then if this is the USDT, it's just going to be 2. Beautiful. OK, awesome. So now I can use that function to display the balances for every token bound account. Now I want to build another data bracket that will have all that information stored. OK, so I'm going to say native balance. We're going to be passing what? Native balance. We're going to be passing native token. What's the token symbol? ETH. If you want to change the token symbol, you can do it from here. This will be passed to the front end. OK, so then you can modify it here as you want. And then custom balance, or this will be the USDT balance. We're going to be calling USDT balance. And then custom token will be USDT. You see? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to store this in an array. So I'm going to say return data. OK, beautiful. Awesome. So now we should be obtaining this as a data array, with all this information in, so then I can use it to populate the data on the front end. OK, awesome. And we're almost done. OK, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go pack onto index. Now we are going to build the final function on the config.js file, which is to do the entire ERC-6551 app functionality, which is allow me to create a new wallet, allow me to withdraw tokens, and allow me to fetch the balances from all the tokens. OK, so let's go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do, I am going to export async function, OK, walletAction. OK, inside this walletAction, we need to pass the NFT wallet address. This is not the account that is connected. This is not the wallet that is connected to the browser. This will be the NFT token bound account that gets generated, OK, or the address itself. Also, we are going to be passing the token name. So we are going to pass the string of the token symbol, because with that, I can go and determine to which smart contract am I going to make the call to obtain the balances or withdraw tokens, etc. OK, so we're going to be doing a lot of things here. OK, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to call this token name or symbol, it doesn't matter. And we are going to now say app button text. OK, so we have to pass that to the action. Why is that? Remember, if we look back where we coded the getNftsInfo, I am going to either check if the wallet has been already created. Then I'm going to provide the withdraw button. So the button is going to be dynamic. It's going to either allow the user to create the account or allow the user to withdraw. The same value, I have to use the value, so then I can determine if when the user clicks the button, they will either generate the account or withdraw tokens. So that's what we are going to do in this function, which is going to have 2 main functions: to withdraw or create account. We need to put the condition and we need to execute based on the condition. OK, so and finally, the NFT ID, obviously, because we need to know which NFT are we going to be interacting with. Right? So the first thing, obviously, I'm going to constant Web3 connection, because we're going to obviously talk Web3 to the wallet, the connected wallet. And I'm going to say await connect wallet. I'm going to use that function that we generated at the beginning. And let's say provider. We're going to say Web3 connection provider. There you go. We imported that. Now we have to interact with the registry smart contract. So we're going to say let ERC-6551 registry. And now we're going to say await Web3 connection. And then we will look for that registry. OK, so this is the interface to talk to the smart contract, the registry. OK, then we're going to say let, and we're going to specify chain ID, because we want to obtain that chain ID once again. And again, I could be storing that in state and just pass it as an argument, but I'm just doing it because I already have it from the Connect wallet, so that's fine. OK, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to say await provider. And then we're going to get the network. OK, and that's how we obtain the chain ID. Now what we need to determine what the value of the app button is going to be. Remember, we are going to fill this variable. When we first scan the wallet for the NFTs, we are going to be determining if the wallet has already been created or not for that NFT. If the value of the button text is withdraw, that means that the wallet has already been created. So then I'm going to give the opportunity to withdraw tokens from the token bound account off to the connected wallet. OK, if the button value is create account, then I'm going to allow the user to create the account using the same button. The button is going to refresh. You're going to see that. It's very cool. So now what I'm going to do, speaking of that, I'm going to say the following. I'm going to say if app button text. And you might be asking, well, that's not the same as the name that we have on the getNftsInfo. No, it's not. This will be passed from the front end back into this interface. Once we render the page and display the NFTs, that button information should have the text, and we will use the same information to then decide if we're going to create a new wallet or we're just going to withdraw. Okay. So if add button is equals to what? To create account, that means the wallet hasn't been generated, right? So if that's the case, then we're going to say let create wallet. Now we are going to build that Web3 call to create that NFT token bound account. So we're going to say await what? ERC-6551 registry, right? So we are going to be calling that smart contract, and we are going to be passing the values. What values are we, which values do we need? Okay, so instead of us calling the previous call, we called to get the wallet address, and this one is right here. You can see it right here. Now we're going to allow it to create. So we are going to be passing the same information, right? But now it's going to be it's going to pass the values from the front end, okay? So I'm going to say create account, right? And inside the create account, we're going to be passing the ERC-6551 base account, okay? So this will be the address that we configured at the beginning that we created here, right? So that's the smart contract that we deployed, the account. And we are going to be passing everything else, right? So let me go ahead. I am going to lazy mode. Let me just copy this, right? And what we're going to do, let me go ahead. Boom, beautiful. Okay, so now you can see here that we are going to pass the base account smart contract address, the chain ID, which we are obtaining previously, and then the contract address, which we'll have at the beginning, and then the NFT ID, and then salt remains at 0, okay? Beautiful. So if that works out, okay, that means that if this actually worked, we want to say, then return true, right? So with that said, now I can say return create wallet. What are we expecting to have in the return? True. So hopefully the user has pressed confirm on the wallet and the transaction has occurred, then the wallet account has been successfully generated, okay? Else, if this is not that, right? In this case, else, what we need to do? Now we have to obtain the wallet address then, because that means that the wallet is already created. User wallet, this will be the MetaMask wallet that is connected. We're going to say connection, and we're going to say account, and we're going to say address. That's how we obtain it, and you can just confirm right above here. There we go. You can see it right here. I can actually just copy this. I'm going to say paste. And now once we do that, then I am going to say the following. I don't need to do it on wait, actually. So we're going to do that. Then we have to do the signer. So we're going to say, as a matter of fact, I can do this const. I want to say signer. Okay. And the signer is going to be from my existing Web3 connection. I'm going to call signer, which we are exporting, remember? Then we are going to say, now we have to interact with both USDT and the native token, right? So we're going to say USDT contract. We're going to grab that once again from the Web3 connection, and we're going to look for that USDT contract. Okay. And now here's the fun part. So that means if the user clicks the only button that is going to be available on the app, we have to do one of two things. Is the wallet already created? Okay. So that's how we are going to determine with the value that is passed using the app button text that we obtained, that we generated previously, right? Then once I get that, then if the wallet is already created, then I'm not going to match this. I'm just going to fall here. And now I can say the following. Check this out. This is going to make a lot of sense. Token name, right? What needs to happen is if token name is USDT, and you might say, well, how am I going to be able to know what token name is going to be? So when the user clicks either one or the other, right? We can see it right here. I am going to grab that state. I am going to record that state into a variable that then we will pass onto this function, which means that I will be able to determine which token did the user select it, okay? Once the user selects this button, this particular token, then if I click here, the withdraw function, then it's going to pass onto the config.js onto the function that we're creating right here. And then it's going to pass the value of USDT. Else it's just going to fall back into the native token. So with that said, I am going to say let USDT balance, right? And we are going to declare await USDT contract. Remember, we are now interacting with that smart contract if the token name is equals to USDT. And we are going to determine, now it's just going to be a normal ERC-20 call, but I need to pass what balance of? The balance of the NFT wallet address, not my connected wallet. It's going to be the NFT token bound account, okay? Then let withdraw, right? Let withdraw, and we are going to now use the ERC account smart contract. Check this out. I have to construct it right here. Okay, so I'm going to do it right now. So ERC-65, this is being a long video. ERC-6551 account. Let's construct that. New ethers contract. And we're going to say NFT wallet. That's going to be the account that we are going to be interacting with. Now we are going to do the ABI for the account, right? Because we're interacting with that ERC-6551 account smart contract. And we are going to pass signer because we're going to be working with the connected account. And this is what we need to do, right? USDT balance. And I could have another condition. Let's say if the USDT balance is more than 0, then allow it to withdraw or whatever, okay? So I can have now ERC-6551 account. This is a smart contract. Now I'm going to say what? Send custom, where that is. If you don't remember the last video, we configure a custom function when we wrote the account smart contract and modify that contract to allow us to use custom ERC-20 tokens. So if I go back, I'm going to go back here. Let me show you the account. You can see it right here, send custom. So what I need to be passing is the wallet that I'm going to be sending the tokens to, the amount, and the contract, the token smart contract. In this case, the USDT, the fake USDT. Okay, so if I go back, let me go back. We're almost there. We're almost done. So the first value, what it is going to be 2. Remember, it's going to be 2. Which wallet are we going to send the funds to? It's going to be the user wallet. Okay, so we are going to allow the user to withdraw tokens from the NFT wallet. This is the magic right here. The NFT wallet to its own wallet, to the connector wallet, to the browser, okay, to the MetaMask wallet. Okay, so we're going to say user wallet, right? And then we're going to now pass the balance because that's the amount, right? So we're going to pass in USDT balance. And now finally, I'm going to pass the contract address of the USDT, of the fake token. So USDT, and we are going to use this. There you go, right there. That's the USDT contract address, okay? Beautiful. Now I'm just going to confirm. Withdrawal has completed. I'm going to say return true, okay? And then, right, so that's the case if the token that the user has selected is USDT. In case the user has selected else, I don't need to put another token, or else if you have more tokens that you want to add, then you can. But in this case, it's either USDT or the native. So that means if this is not matching USDT, then just fall into the native token at this point. What I'm going to do, I am going to get the balance from the provider because this is a native token. Let me just grab the balance where it is, right here, right? So this will be the native balance. But we don't need to convert this to string because we're going to be passing that straight to the blockchain. Okay, so I'm going to say provider get balance. And then we're going to say the same. We're going to say withdraw, right? But check this out. I'm going to pass this right here, but this will change to send. Okay. And in send, the only 2 items that I need is where do I want to send the tokens to, or the native balance to, and the actual native balance. I don't need to have a custom smart contract address, right? I just need to have the balance, which is going to be then the native balance. So now it allows me to send the native ERC-20 token that is on the wallet. If it's Matic, it's Matic. If it's ETH, it's ETH. And allowing me to withdraw that to my own personal wallet, okay? Beautiful. Okay, so I'm gonna save it. And I believe that's it as far as the functions that we need to make this all work, okay? Beautiful, let's finish up. So we got this ready. I'm going to save, right? Let's go to index. Now let's finish this up, okay? So now we're done. We're almost done. The first thing that we do is we obtain the inventory. We call that by calling getNftsInfo. Why? Because we have this function right here called NFT inventories. So we're going to get the inventory, we're going to pass it at useEffect. So then once it renders, it generates, calls all this. If NFTs.length is more than 0, then go ahead and update the loading state. So then it loads and refreshes the page. Then we are going to obtain a couple of things. More than just the wallet and the image, we need to obtain the balances so then we can dynamically update that on the front end. Okay, so we're going to say let set app button. Okay, so this is for us to change the text on the button from create to withdraw, right? So we want to make sure that that button is dynamic. So we're going to say NFTs, and this is 0, and we are going to pass button text. Okay, this is what we are obtaining from that function right here, this one. Okay. Now I need to create the use state for that because I'm going to pass that. So I'm going to copy this. You know me. I'm going to say app button text, right? And now I'm going to say set app button. Okay, beautiful. So we have that ready to go. Now I can pass this onto the button. As a matter of fact, I can try it right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to find the button. So we want to make sure where that is. I'm going to be passing this value. So let me go back. Let me go back here. And we have to find the button. The button is going to be under the balance, right? In HTML, there should be a button placeholder, and we should be able. I think it's not a button. I wrote an active HTML section, but it's literally the same. It's type button. So let me go ahead and do it. I'm going to go here. Let me find that where it says, I think it's this one right here. So it's below balance, correct. Okay, awesome. So this is the button right here. So what I'm going to do, I am going to pass the value here, right? You can see it here, H heading 5. I'm going to pass that here. So it's going to be act button text, right? I'm going to control S and hope for the best. Go back. There we go. Create account. That means that this NFT has no account whatsoever. There's no account generated. So now what we need to do, right? We did this. Let token balance equals. Now what we need to do, we need to obtain the balance on those tokens inside the NFT wallet. So I'm going to say let token balance. I'm going to say await. I'm going to now say get ERC-6551 balances. Did you remember when we configure this? Let me confirm. Yes. So if we go back onto config, you're going to see it right here. This is how we can obtain the balances for both the USDT token, because we are obtaining that here, and the native token. Then we'll pass this under the data. Okay, beautiful. So now let me go back. And now that we are obtaining this from here, I can pass effectively the wallet address of the NFT. This will be the token bound account. So if we go back, this will be this wallet. This address, I have to pass it onto that function so that we can retrieve the values for both ETH and USDT. Okay, so let me go back. So we're going to pass this copy. We're going to pass it right here. And that should be it. Okay, we are going to, again, record this in state. Copy. Let me go ahead and paste. Now get token balances. Okay. And this will be an array, right? Because we are passing, again, we are passing data that is being arrayed. So it has been placed in an array. So now what I got to do, I am going to pass here token balances. Okay. Now I can use this to store the output of that function. Okay. So token balance, I'm going to go back here. Now I'm going to say this, I'm going to say token balance, and beautiful. Okay. Awesome. We are going to be obtaining that information as well. Now, after that is done, right? Now, instead of me setting the load state, you know, where when it's showing loading NFTs, I don't want to show them before getting the balance information for the token. I want to load the page after I obtain all the information I need to obtain, right? So I'm going to say the following here. I'm going to set the loading state after all of this has been rendered, right? And else, right? We want to do an else. What could we think as an else if this is not matching? So NFT length is not more than 0. That means that the user has no NFTs from our collection on the wallet that they're connecting to the app. Okay, so all I'm going to do, I am going to pass this right here, right? And we're going to test this. I'm going to store that, right? So I'm going to say set init message, right? And that set init message, what I'm going to do to make it even more interesting is I am going to use this to then show the loading, loading NFTs instead of me passing it manually, which I am doing here. What I'm doing instead, I am doing a use state that says init message, okay? Which if this refreshes and there's no NFTs, this will change to whatever we are going to capture in the else. So we are going to invoke the else, and I'm going to say set init message, no NFTs found on wallet. Okay, that means that if the function, right, if this function executes and there's no NFTs, because there's not an inventory of NFT IDs, that means that it's going to show this on the initial state that will be passed here. Okay, so if I go back here, I'm going to say init message. Now what I got to do is the following. This will be updated while we wait for the initial rendering. I am going to say getting or loading NFTs. I can say loading NFTs. There you go. So this will be shown first, right? Because we're going to be rendering this. If there's no NFTs, then you're going to fall into this and you're going to change and swap the message to no NFTs found on the wallet. And we're going to test this. If there's NFTs on the wallet, then it's going to show the NFTs in the entire app. Very cool, right? So you can see it here. We're just passing that argument here. So when I save it, I'm going to go back, loading NFTs. And we didn't saw no NFTs found on the wallet because the wallet I have connected, it has NFT, but let's give it a shot. Let's change it. And we are okay. Beautiful. I used the other one. Now I'm going to refresh. Now it's asking me to connect because it's a brand new wallet. Now I'm going to connect a brand new wallet. No NFTs found on the wallet, which means, yeah, it's not going to load. You don't have any NFTs. Beautiful. Awesome. Okay, so let's go back. Let's switch the wallet. Now we're going to refresh, and now we should get the app. Beautiful. Now that's done. Now we are going to be building a function that allows the user to click the NFTs or change between NFTs, so then they can interact with multiple wallets. Okay. I am going to say set active NFT ID will be NFT ID. I'm going to show you why, because now all I'm doing is I'm going to be passing this with the value of the NFT, and then the user will just refresh this and state. It's just going to update the HTML to reflect the new NFT that we selected, the next NFT. Okay. So I'm going to say set active NFT image. So then it changes to the new image, and we're going to say NFT image, right? Now we're going to say set active NFT set NFT wallet, right? And now we're going to be passing the wallet address, right? So then it refreshes the wallet that is displayed. And now we're going to say set app button because we want to also refresh the token. We want to refresh the message on the button because if they change to an NFT that the account hasn't been created, we want to still show create account, right? So it's dynamic. So we're going to say button text, right? And once we do that, now what I have to do, I have to say let token balance. I'm going to say await. And now we are going to say get ERC-6551 balances. Let's take the opportunity to use the same function. And I am going to be passing the wallet, the NFT wallet, right? We are going to obtain the token balance for that new NFT that the user has selected because they changed the NFT. They clicked on the NFT, they swapped the NFTs, okay? So I'm going to say token balance, and then now I can pass get token balances and pass token balance, right? This will allow me to now pass it to HTML once again. And what I have to do, right? I am going to make the button dynamic where the NFT button, the token button, the user can switch, which means that I have to tell the front end that this button, let's say this button was selected, right? And then we swap to this button. I want to make sure that I can change the color of the button to display that this NFT is no longer active and this NFT is active, which means that I have to capture that state on that token. I am going to say get token back as in background. And I'm going to say null, right? Why? Because I want to make sure that I can reset the tokens and then the user will allow, select which one they want, okay? Beautiful, so we have this function done, but we're not there yet. Now, we want to make sure that we have another function that allows the user to change the ERC-20 token that they want to interact on the wallet, okay? Which is different from this. This change NFT function is going to allow me, let me show you, it's going to allow the user to click each NFT and the display should change and the tokens should change or the balances or should be fetched and the create account or withdraw, whichever is the one that is going to be active for that NFT shows here, okay? So let's go back. Now under change NFT, now we have to do another function. In this case, it's going to allow the user to click the ERC-20 tokens that they want to interact, either withdraw or whatever, right? I'm going to say change token, right? Now we're going to say it's also async. I have to pass first the token name and the token balance because I want to obtain the balance for both. And as they click here, this should be able to refresh the balances as they start moving between tokens, okay? So now let's say set active token balance, right? And we are going to now display token balance. You might ask yourself what this is for. This is for us to show this, to show balance on the active token that we selected. So let's say we clicked Tether or USDT. This should show the balance for the USDT here. If we decide to switch back onto the ETH token, then the balance is going to change to the ETH token, okay? Let's go back. Now we are going to say set active token, and this will be the token name because we want to tell the user that now they have selected a new token that they are going to be interacting with. This will be the token. So I'm going to be showing not only the balance, but also the token symbol. Beautiful, okay? And now the set token back. Remember, this is what we configure here. This is for us to make the background different from the other token. So it's a way for the user to know that they're interacting with that active token, okay? Set token back to the token name. I am going to capture what the value of the token name is, so then I can just change the color to the background. It's very cool, okay? And that's it. That's about it. Okay, so now I have to build some use states. Okay, so I'm going to build this set active token state, route all those two. I'm going to paste it below here, and now we're going to be working with this. I'm going to say set active token balance. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste. Okay, and then we are going to say active token balance. Set active token. This will be the name, right? We're going to call this active token, right? And we need another one, which is the background, the set token background. Okay, so set token back, right? And then this will be token back. Token back. We will use those values on our front end to do the interaction, right? To make it interactive. And then we want to initiate this with null because nothing has been selected when we first initially load this page. Okay, so we don't want to like show one ERC token that is active, right? We want to allow the user to select the NFT and the token. Okay. And what else am I missing? Okay, I think we are done here. Got it. All right, so we got those two. Oh, that's get token back. I think we are missing that one. No, this will be here. Get token back. There we go. Now it should be good. Okay, now I am going to do the following because we're going to be clicking. The user is going to click those two tokens. I want to make sure that I refresh. Every time that the user clicks a new NFT ID, those balances are updated. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So for that, I'm going to capture that event by creating a new effect here to do just that. It's going to be this. And I'm going to capture if token balances, right, is length, it's not 0, right? Then do this, set active token balance. And I'm going to say, right, because we're going to be passing that token balances. You can see it right here. Now we can use that here. We can say token balances, and it's going to be 0, and it's going to be native balance, okay? What is this? Remember when we have that get ERC-6551 balances, this is the output that we were obtaining. We're going to obtain both the native balance and the USDT balance when we initially load the page. So I can grab the active token balance and pass the native balance, because when we initially load the page, this is going to be the default token that it's going to be selected. But the user can swap, change between one or the other. Then now we're going to say active token, and we are going to say token balances, and we are going to say native token, right? We are just passing the properties inside that. So I'm going to show you right here, the property native balance, native token, custom val, custom token, okay? And native token, I'm going to say set token back. Now we are going to, by default, enable. I'm going to say get token back. Let's do it here as well. Get token back. And now I'm going to pass it to the native token, right? So I'm going to say token, and I'm going to pass the token back to the native token. So that will be the first one that's going to be selected as active. And I'm going to say update this once the token balances are updated, right? So once you see that this has been filled, that the state has changed on this variable, then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to be able to update this right here, right? That's it. That's it for now. I'm going to Control S, and let's see what we get, okay? Beautiful. We don't see the balances yet, but it's coming, okay? Now, I believe that what we need to do is just provide the HTML, the variable, so then we can see this on the screen, okay? And connect the button so then we can choose the NFTs and such, okay? So we go back. Now we are going to pass those values. So let's start. I am going to populate the button for the NFT, so then the user can change the NFT. As they select, they should be able to change the NFT. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say on click right here, and we are going to pass change NFT. That's the function, okay? But I have to pass to change NFT the data and the name. Okay, this is very important because I need to tell to which NFT are we changing. Once we click the NFT, I need to capture which NFT it is. And I am going to do something because I'm changing the NFT. I got to pass a lot of input, right? So if we go here, all this, I have to populate that. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. Check this out. I'm going to say this will be the state. I'm going to say this. Check this out. Will not lose the track on this one. Right? Now I have to pass all this information, right? But I'm going to do it using the information that we already rendered on this map. So I'm going to say data. What's the first information that I need from data? The NFT ID. And all this we are obtaining from this call. When we do the inventory, we will get all this information under data. So now I can pass this here. Then we're going to say data NFT image. Now we're going to say what? Data .nft wallet, now because we want to update the wallet in the front end. And then we're going to say data button text, okay? Which means that if we either have to create the account or we can now use the account, then we should be able to understand what the state of that wallet is. Okay, so I'm going to go back, and you can see it right here. When we generate that, all those values, we're just passing it to the front end, okay? So that said, I'm going to Control S. Let's go back. And if everything goes well, we should be able to switch between NFTs. So I'm going to say load once again and check it out. Boom, boom. And not only that, check this thing right here. This is also updating. As we click, it gets updated. Beautiful, huh? This is awesome. Okay, now let's populate so then we can start seeing the balances on the NFTs, and we're almost done. Also, we can see that the button, it's already refreshing, right? So we can refresh. Once we create the first one, this should change to withdraw, okay? Now let's pass the values to the tokens. Okay, so now let's go here. The first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to show under the ETH symbol next to it, I am going to pass the token balance. I'm going to say under author info, under span, I'm going to call token balances, right? Because we are obtaining this from the front end, from the initial use state call. I'm going to say token balances native token, because this is the section for Ethereum, or the ETH token, if this is the case for ETH, right? And then I'm going to say that's the symbol. Now we're going to pass the balance, native bal, okay? If everything goes well, this should display. Let's Control S. There you go. How are we getting this information? So let me refresh once again, so you can see how are we getting this to format. It's the convert to ETH function that I coded, right? That I added into the config. Okay, so it's this one right here. This is how we can format that output here, right here. Okay, beautiful. Let's go back. Now we have to do it for the USDT. So what we're going to do is the same, but in this case, I'm going to do this. I'm going to grab this, copy, I'm going to paste it here. And now we're going to change this to be the custom, because remember, the function for the balances is going to pass two tokens. It's going to pass the native and the custom. So we have to just call this properties and the front end. So I'm going to say now it's going to be custom token. And now we're going to say custom balance. Okay, Control S, boom. Cool, huh? If I refresh, if I keep clicking, now that's the balance for those token accounts, okay? All right, awesome. What we need to do is we need to prepare the button so when the user clicks either ETH or USDT, they should be able to interact with either token, okay? Let's do that. What I'm going to show you real quick, because it's going to extend a lot here, okay? Right, so the first one that we have to work with is this one right here, okay? So what we need to do here in the A section, we are going to add an onClick, right? So I'm going to just add an onClick here that will allow the user to change the token, right? So to select which token they want to interact with or withdraw tokens from. So we're going to say change token now. We're going to use that function. And now I have to pass the parameters. Let me just do this copy real quick. I want to show you something real cool that's what I basically did. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to copy it to make it faster. Okay, so I'm going to say transparent. Don't bear with me. I'm going to do it real quick. And I'm going to say this, right? I'm going to pass this, and I'm going to say change token. I'm going to pass this, and that should be it. Okay, bear with me. Remember, we are working with the first token, which is the ETH token on this section right here. We are working with that in the HTML. So we're going to go back. We're done. We're almost done here. And we're going to pass the native token, right? The native token, it's going to be the address of the token and the balance of the token. Right? So if I click that ETH, then I should be able to update the state to reflect that. And now here's the fun part. So remember when we did the set token back, I am going to then determine if token back, this is a conditional operator that allows me to switch from transparent, right? If this is not matching this, right? If the token back, which is the use state that we have when we load the page, you can see it right here. If it's not matching the token name that we're passing, then consider that to be inactive. That's a way for me to change the state on those buttons and be able to change the background on the button. So then the user know which token is the one that they're going to be interacting with, okay? Or the one that is active. So with that said, if this is not matching, whatever we stored in the use state, it's not matching to native token, then show transparent background. Else, if it does, then you want to show this color, okay? Let's now do the same thing. We're just going to copy this whole liner right here. And we have to do the same thing for the second token. Actually, this is the ETH token right here. I'm going to just do this. Paste it right here, right? And OK, and then I'm going to say this one is the one. This is the native, so this is good. The only thing that I have to change here is going to be custom token because it's the second token. OK, so I'm going to say token, custom, right? And now we're going to say, now here, I have to convert this to be custom because this is the second. OK, if I save and go back, let's see what happens. You can already see that the background has switched. Why it has selected ETH at the beginning? Because when we initialize the front end, okay, we initialize the front end and we render this at the beginning, we are going to set the token background to the native token. This is what will load initially. Then I can go ahead and switch myself. Okay, so I'm going to say USDT, boom, USDT, ETH, ETH. Okay, so that tells the user that they're working with that particular token. One thing that I don't see is the balance for that token, which is simple. It's a state. So we are just going to find that section where it says balance. And you can see it right here. We just need to pass the balance in the active token. Okay, so we are going to find that state right here, active token balance, right? I'm going to copy it. Let's go back down, balance. And we are going to pass it right here. So we're going to be passing that balance right here. Let's save it and see. Boom. And let's switch it. Awesome. So let me go ahead and refresh, confirm. There you go. There you go. Awesome. And I can do the following as well. So let me show you. What I can do is I'm going to show the balance, then the token symbol next to it. So when I say balance plus, I'm just going to make just one space here, plus and the active token. Okay, so now we are passing not just the balance, but also the token symbol, which we are recording in state. When we change the token, we set the active token and the balance. That's how we can, swap it down here. So if I save it and go back, there you go. Now it shows ETH. If I change to USDT, let me refresh. If I change to USDT, boom, USDT. Beautiful, huh? Okay, one last thing, create the account and we'll test, okay? Let's do the following, let's confirm. What we need to do, the final function is going to be the execute that will allow me to generate the account or withdraw tokens. So let's build that function. Constant execute action. Okay, this is going to call that function that we configure here, the wallet action. This is going to now either create the account or allow the user to withdraw the tokens. Okay, so let's go back here. Now we're going to say constant execute action equals async, and we're going to say boom, boom. Okay, let action. We're going to say await wallet action. Now we are going to be effectively working with that. Let me confirm that we have imported it. We have imported wallet action. Now I'm going to say NFT wallet. That's going to be the first parameter. You can see here, I'm expecting the address of the NFT that we have selected because we're now working with useState. Every time that we change an NFT ID, then we are going to be changing the wallet as well. So we can pass that live value here. Okay. I'm going to also pass the active token because that's the token that we are going to be interacting, the ERC-20. The app button text that will determine if I am going to create an account, a brand new token account, or I am withdrawing tokens from that NFT. Those are the two functions, okay? And finally, the active NFT ID. If action equals true, and you might ask yourself, how is it going to equals true? Let's go back here. If action equals true, then what it's going to do, it's going to either create the wallet. It's going to do one of those two things. And I don't necessarily need to know what it's going to do because it's going to auto-select either one of the two. If it's true, then it's going to change the button to withdraw. Else it's going to change the state to create. So I'm going to have two messages, either withdrawing tokens from account and creating account. And I'm going to be displaying the model that is going to pop up and it's going to show just the status. Okay. So with that said, if action, okay, if action equals true, then I want to say if app button text is equal to withdraw, that means that the wallet account is already created and you are withdrawing tokens. Else you are creating an account. This simple condition, okay? Then I want you to say set model MSG, right? I'm going to say, I want to put the model, it's going to be very quick. It's going to say set model MSG and it's going to say withdraw in progress, standby, okay? Else, I'm going to copy this, right? I'm going to say else, I don't need to put a condition, just else, creating token account, okay? Or NFT wallet, I'm going to say NFT wallet, okay? Beautiful. And what I'm going to do, I am going to build a model. A model is basically a pop-up screen that shows a status, so then it updates as the page is executing whatever function you executed, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say open model, right? And we have to build this function, okay? So I'm going to just do it. And then I'm just going to put a promise to await for that to complete. I'm just going to do a quick timeout. This is just for me to hold a bit. We just put 15 seconds. That's usually what it takes for any, most transactions to process. Then after that, it allows me to refresh the page, okay? And then once that's done, I'm going to close the model, right? We're going to be closing that model. And then I'm going to refresh the page. So then it changes the state. And that's it. Insert this button in the function here, this right here, right? So we're going to do that right here in the app, in the A. So we're going to say on click, execute action, okay? Now we're going to save it. And finally, I'm going to add the model. This is Bootstrap. I'm not going to discuss too much of it. It's just for me to show a message, hey, that we are either doing this or we are doing this. And just wait before closing the model and then reloading the page. That's all I'm doing, okay? And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to be passing that model message here. So then it shows that live activity, okay? It's going to be very cool. So what I'm going to do, this is going to be displayed in that pop-up message. You're going to see it. Okay, so now I have to create that state. And that should be it. So I'm going to say constant model MSG. And then we're going to say set model message. And we are going to pass use state. And we're going to say this. And that's it. Cool. Awesome. We're going to say model message. We're passing it right here. We're golden, okay? Now let's give it a shot. Let's see, we're done. It's loading, boom, okay? Awesome. So now you can see that we, everything is creating an account because we haven't made an account, okay? So let's fix that. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create an account for token ID number 4, okay? Click, and boom, we have the wallet open. Now let's go ahead and execute that. So I'm gonna confirm. Oh, we haven't done the model. The model interface. Don't worry, we'll do it very quick. But it did created it, so that's good. Okay, so I'm just going to do the model right here. I'm just going to pass those values because we don't want to extend it more. Okay, so open model, what it does, it calls Bootstrap, and then it calls that MSG model. That's the document element ID. So if I go here, this is it. You see, this is how I'm going to pop up that screen. I'm going to Control S, and yeah, let's give it a shot. So now if we refresh, let's see here. Oh, there we go. Awesome. Withdraw. So that one has created. Okay, beautiful. Now let's test it again now that we have the model. So I'm going to select this. I'm going to create the account. Let's see what's going to happen. Boom, creating NFT wallet, standby. 15 seconds, it should refresh. We'll go back, it should show withdraw. It should also show that the transaction is done. Boom, transaction is done. Boom, awesome, beautiful. Now let's go ahead and transfer some tokens, some ETH, Sepolia Testnet tokens to this wallet, okay? Let me go ahead and from my wallet, I can go ahead and deposit. So I'm gonna transfer from here to the token bound account, which is this one right here. I'm gonna say, let's transfer just 0.0, how much I have? I don't have too much. So I'm gonna say 0.03 or something, okay? I'm gonna say next, okay? I'm gonna confirm, boom, okay? Let's wait for that. It's passing, boom, has been sent. Let me refresh, select. Oh, cool, awesome. Okay, now let's do USDT because we want to test again. Let's go ahead into the USDT, the fake one. And now what I'm going to do, I am going to mint. Let's mint 10,000, 18 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Mint, confirm. Those tokens should have landed on my wallet, not the NFT wallet. Okay, so now I have to transfer them to the NFT wallet, which means that I'm going to grab the token smart contract address and I'm going to send that here. I'm going to import. That's the USDT contract. Now I have my 10,000. Now I'm going to send that to that wallet. So I'm going to grab this wallet address, right? I'm going to go back, grab those USDT. I'm going to go ahead and send it here. And we are going to send how much? We're going to send 2361.32 or 23. Okay. I'm going to say next. And I'm going to be transferring that to the NFT wallet. Okay. I'm going to confirm. Wait for that. Boom. Done. Awesome. Let's give it a shot. Let me refresh. And if I click here, boom, it has updated successfully. Awesome. Final test. Let's withdraw. Okay. I'm going to withdraw the test tokens because I need those. So I'm going to click withdraw. Boom. It's asking me to withdraw. I'm going to confirm. And while that's happening, let's keep an eye on my Sepolia testnet tokens. That should increment. And this should refresh. Boom. Wait. Boom. Awesome. Okay. There you have it. Full-blown NFT ERC-6551 token-bound account front-end. Tested everything. It was a long video, but yeah, you got it all. You got it all, and this is fully working, and just go ahead and enjoy, play with it, okay? I'm going to leave the entire project done on GitHub. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more amazing content like this. Bye.